So I'm going to be demonstrating in my first video range of motion measurements. And the first one that I'm going to be demonstrating is shoulder flexion. So with this measurement, I'm going to place the goniometer at the center of the lateral humerus, just distal to the acromion process. And I'm going to instruct my patients to flex the arm. Okay, so this will be the stationary arm is going to be parallel to the trunk, and the moving arm is going to be parallel to the humerus. For this measurement, the normal range of motion is 0 to 170. Okay. So for her, she's measuring at 150. The next one I'm going to demonstrate is shoulder extension. And the placement of the goniometer is going to be the same place. So I'm going to instruct her to move her arm backwards for shoulder extension. For this measurement, the normal range of motion is 0 to 60, and the placement of the axis is going to be at the same places. The moving arm is going to be parallel to the trunk. The stationary arm is going to be parallel to the trunk, and the moving arm is going to be parallel to the humerus. So I'm going to move this. And for this measurement, she's measuring at 50. This measurement is going to be shoulder abduction. For shoulder abduction, the normal range of motion is a 0 to 170 degrees. And the axis placement is going to be on the acromion process on the posterior of the shoulder. So I'm going to instruct my patient to move her hand in this direction. So this will be the stationary arm, which is parallel to the trunk, and then the moving arm is parallel to the humerus. So with this measurement, she's measuring at 160. Next measurement, I'm going to measure internal rotation and external rotation. So I'm going to start with internal rotation. For this measurement, the placement of the axis is going to be at the elbow, at the olecranon process of the elbow, and the stationary and moving arm is going to be parallel to the forearm. So with the axis placement here, I'm going to instruct my patient to move her arm in this direction for internal rotation. For this measurement, the normal range of motion is a 0 to 60. Let's see. Okay, she's measuring at a 50. So for external rotation, the placement of the axis is going to be at the same place. And with this measurement, the normal range of motion is a 0 to 80. So I'm going to instruct her to move her arm in this direction. Normal range of motion for this measurement is a 0 to 80. Okay, so for this measurement, she's measuring at a 60. This next movement, I'm going to be demonstrating elbow flexion and extension. So for elbow flexion, the normal range of motion is a 0 to 135 to 150. That is between a 0 to 135 and 150. The placement of the axis is going to be at the lateral epicondyle of the humerus. And then, so I'm going to place the axis right here. That's the placement of the axis. And I'm going to instruct my patient to flex. So the stationary arm placement is parallel to the midline of the humerus. And this is the moving arm parallel to the radius. Okay, so for this measurement, she's measuring at 135. Okay. So the next one is going to be elbow extension. Normal range of motion for this one is a 0. Placement of the axis is going to be the same as for the elbow flexion. And then I'm going to kind of straighten the arm for elbow extension. And for this measurement, she's measuring at a 0.